republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing is, John, if you want to come up here, because you're on the negotiating committee, and we'll call this guy. Or just grab a chair and bring it up. Hi, Justin, I'll put you on speakerphone here. We're all ready for you. Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Hello there, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Real good. Say, maybe just start out and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Justin Andrews. I have been practicing with, or I've been at Will Riley for a little over 4 years now. My primary practice areas are municipal law, which also dabbles with, or bleeds into school law, labor and employment issues. I'm a resident, or a lifelong resident of Dunn County. Been in the northwest portion of Wisconsin pretty much my entire life. A little bit of schooling notwithstanding. I think John and I have served as the town attorneys for a little over a year now. Let's see. You want to know a little bit more about the firm or anything specific to me by chance?
Why don't you fill us in on the firm a little bit?
Sure. Will Bradley is a full-service firm that I believe we opened our doors in 1999 by Stephen Weld. I take that back, 1991. We have approximately 30 attorneys spread across 2 main offices, one in Eau Claire, the other being in Wausau. Let's see, I'm trying to think, it'd probably be a better or easier time listing the practice areas we don't engage in, and that's not very many. Municipal matters specific, I believe we have about 10 to 12 attorneys that dedicate a majority of their practice to municipal matters, whether that's at the town, city, village, and we even engage in some county work. We've pulled back on a little bit of the county stuff, but we're still fully vested in representing local municipalities throughout the central and northwest Wisconsin regions.
Okay.
Hi Justin, this is John. I sit on the negotiating board. Could you give us a little information upon how much do you do, or your firm does, with landfill negotiations?
Sure. So it is definitely a topic that does come up in doing municipal law. Looking back at our files, it looks like we've done several. I want to venture to say at least 10 to 12. Probably most notably 3 within the last 2 to 3 years. And that's been representing negotiating committees on behalf of the city of Eau Claire to the town of Viroqua, and kind of everywhere in between. I believe we've done some work for a couple various villages as well.
Could you, you named two there, Eau Claire and Viroqua, could you name a couple more?
I can't off the top of my head, I'm sorry, I just pulled the most recent ones that we did, since I've been at the firm. I can provide that, information to the town, in a follow-up email if you guys would desire.
Yes, would you please?
Yeah, let me just make a note of that, so I have, sorry, I'm just gonna write down some handwritten notes here. Perfect, and I can get that information to, the chairman, first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank you then. Let's see. What are your fees? Do you charge mileage? What's your hourly rate, etc.?
Sure. So that is something that's set by our managing shareholders. I checked with them prior to today's hearing. It looks like it'd be a flat rate, whether it's one of the shareholders, myself, or someone else. It's $265 an hour. That would, I believe, mileage or travel would be included in that calculation. However, we're flexible in, if you want to hold meetings virtually like we're doing right now or through Zoom, just to cut down on travel expenses, we're fully on board with doing that, whatever the negotiating team's preference is. But yeah, our rate would be $265 an hour.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the 7 Mile landfill in Eau Claire. Who did you represent? Because there was 3 parties involved there.
So we represented the interests of the city of Eau Claire in that matter. I believe it was certainly the city of Eau Claire. The other parties involved, I believe, besides GFL, would have been the county primarily, and maybe another affected municipality.
Okay, what were the big things they were after?
Oh, that was a big list, and 7 Mile Creek was a little bit it was unique. The negotiations that we were able to secure through those discussions were fairly uncommon. But an overview of the issues would have been vehicle requirements, so inspecting and maintaining a log of truck inspections for debris, securing debris, litter and tracking of foreign materials along the truck routes. We established a standing committee that would meet quarterly to be apprised of overviews or updates on the landfill. Let's see, there was groundwater. We established groundwater and surface water monitoring that would be done each year to make sure that there's any chances or risk of contamination would be mitigated. I believe that either one of those 2 committees was also responsible for monitoring any complaints as it related to private wells, any chances of contamination there. Composting efforts, so continuation of composting activities to mitigate the total tonnage of material that would be deposited in the landfill. Tippage fees, which that's part of the socioeconomic costs that are associated with landfills or expansion. We were able to negotiate annual payments to the closest properties that were bordering the landfill. There were studies showing that landfills can affect nearby property values depending on their proximity to the landfill, and these annual, what we call them, tippage tonnage fees was an effort to kind of offset those effects in property values. I believe memory serves right. The annual fee was like $1,500 per property owner with a 1.5% increase year over year on that fee.
How do you,
And I believe, I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
just to
go ahead.
add, I think that affected about 60 properties that surrounded the landfill area.
how do you approach negotiations?
Largely, it's, the main thing is just having a consensus with the negotiating committee and trying to hammer out beforehand, really the main issues that the committee wants to address, in order of priority. We've had negotiations where, if the community is fairly happy with the way the landfill has been operating and they believe there's a solid benefit to the municipality, the negotiations are, fairly hands-off or, not very contentious. 7 Mile Creek was more on the other end of that aspect. If we want to see, make gains in any one of those areas that I described, that's certainly something we can explore. It does make the process go longer, but ultimately the negotiations we're not satisfied unless the committee and by extension the municipality is satisfied. And really the best starting point for discussing what the priorities are for the committee would be, seeing what's already been established with the current agreement, if that information is available, and seeing where the team would like to see, better improvements.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that was an interesting one. And did you find it interesting too? Because you got the other two parties who are negotiating, and you're negotiating for one of the three.
I mean, it's essentially, the local municipalities, I'm sorry, we didn't see much conflict there. The lead attorney that worked on that, his name is Anders. I think we had a real good, he reported a real good working relationship with the other negotiating committees, in presenting a unified front, in getting some of these terms met. I know GFL, it took a while. GFL didn't want to make any concessions on many of these, especially tonnage fees, the sociological payment, and then a vertical height limit on the expansion. But eventually we were able to see the results that we wanted there.
Have you worked with the siting board at all?
I have not, no. I mean, the siting board is they make a lot of the main determinations if there's ever a dispute that goes beyond negotiations, and it's something the parties need to convene a hearing for if arbitration falls through. But my exposure to the siting board has been fairly limited.
Questions?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Justin, have you ever, worked with any landfill that waste management, ran?
Let's see. 7 Mile Creek was GFL. The higher one was Advanced Disposal. I'm sure we have maybe in the previous ones. And when I provide that list, I can look and see who the owner of the owner of the landfill was. I'm sure Waste Management will have popped up in at least one of them.
Okay. You could send that information in along?
I believe so. Yeah, I'll have to check with the managing attorneys. I do not see a conflict with that. This should be publicly available information.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Justin, this is Pam. Would you be our lead attorney, or how does that whole negotiation work for you guys?
So basically, I would serve as a point of contact. I don't think our firm doesn't like using, quote unquote, a lead. We try to take a team approach on this. Some attorneys have more experience in matters, and they're a good resource, and we don't want to isolate them or not utilize them at all. So basically, what you have is myself and maybe one other attorney, probably Attorney Bailing, would serve as points of contact. But you would have access to all of our resources, and that means any of the 25 to 30 attorneys that we think can assist in the negotiations.
Okay, thanks. One more question. How long, and I know everyone's different, but how long do negotiations take? Just wondering, like, months, years, what are we looking at here?
Conservatively, I'm gonna say, several months.
Okay.
It honestly depends on the issues that we're trying to negotiate, how
Right.
contentious they are,
Yeah.
how far apart the parties are on that topic. I would say, at a minimum, it's a several month process, and it's not due just to the committee negotiations. There's also a state path that that waste management needs to navigate to secure approvals, and part of that is reports, getting environmental standard reports approved by the Department of Natural Resources, and that takes quite a lengthy process as well. So it's not due just to the local negotiating committees. It's there's some state procedure that needs to be observed too, which can take longer.
Thank you.
I would, for frame of reference, the 7 Mile Creek negotiations, I think that took at least a year and a half. But again, several points of negotiation were going on there.
Okay. You'd mentioned that you're the point of contact. So at the negotiating table, would it be you there all the time or somebody else, Justin?
I think I would be there all the time. When it comes down to the negotiations, it depends on how many, if it's several meeting dates, it would be based on the availability of the attorneys at the time. But we do like to try and strive for some consistency. If one attorney is at a negotiating session and is unable to make the subsequent one, however much longer down the road, we fill the substitute attorney in with all the necessary information, and the information will be shared throughout the municipal law attorneys, so everyone's on board or is at least aware of how the negotiations are progressing.
So before we would even meet with Waste Management, we probably need to meet with you and get our concerns of things that we wanna see.
I think that's
Ready.
probably the best first step is getting the committee together, giving us some time to review the current agreement as it exists, and then brainstorming, what are the most pressing needs or concerns of the town, and then seeing what progress, what are the goals the team would like to see met. It's always good to go in prepared, having a game plan or a starting point.
Right.
Any more? No?
I think that's
Does the public have any questions? Okay,
I will.
Go ahead.
Captain Gardner, when he made the remark, when you asked him what the prices were, I heard him referring to, I believe, I believe, I believe. He never said exactly what it was. So now you're sitting there without, cost of traveling because he believes that was included.
Yeah, Justin, did you hear the question?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
It's,
sounded a little fuzzy.
what she said is you said, I believe, and you'd mentioned the $265 an hour is your hourly
Yes.
rate. What exactly is your travel time? I put it at the same thing, but what is it? Is it 265 or is it something less?
It is 265, and I'm sorry if I said I believe. I'm not intending to mislead anyone. That's just a colloquialism of mine, and I apologize for that. But the rate is $265 an hour. Travel time, it's just the time it takes us to travel from our office to the town of Stubbs. I think the last time I traveled up there, the drive time was about 45-50 minutes.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Well, Justin, thank you. We will get back to you,
Okay.
but I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
I appreciate the opportunity, and yeah, if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or our office.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Discussed turnarounds and dead-end roads. What I've done is I did contact two different attorneys at WTA, and here is their response. And I just wrote what Carol said, but this is what Joe Ruth, he replied back on the email. Got it.
This is just about that freeholder.
Well,
No,
the first
it-
part,
it's
first
the-
sentence is the freeholder,
The
then it goes
first one,
regarding
and then
terminals.
regarding.
Oh, okay.
Regarding
Got it.
terminals. Yeah, just the freeholder is something also.
Yep.
And what I did state on there is that we have a 66-foot right of way on these roads, so we would have to, condemn the land.
Is this a copy? Can I write on it?
Yep, you can write on that, you bet. And Carol, what she said is, you're better just to eliminate the issue and remove the liability and just get it done. And I just put a note.
Okay.
I believe we made a motion on this already.
I don't think, I think we just talked about we weren't
Okay.
gonna do turnarounds, that's what, I mean, that's what we discussed last meeting,
Yeah, we said we would check on a,
liability.
liability
So
and,
does she have a
a
form
waiver.
or something that they can fill out?
well, we'd have to fill out a waiver, but she doesn't recommend a waiver. And like here it says, that many other liability issues will come up. And then if for instance,
Okay,
if
oh, I
somebody
guess
sells.
I not seen that.
Okay, what it says.
Regarding turnarounds, the town could condemn land for a turnaround. Outside this process, liability is complex. And I would suggest you speak with your town attorney if you wanted to pursue some other form of contract and or liability waiver rather than creating a public right of way. So do we wanna talk to the town attorney and have them write
That's
up a
what you
waiver? Is
want
that
me to
what you-
do, I will talk to a town attorney and, but do we wanna spend the money, or do you just wanna get it done?
I don't
Carol-
understand what you mean about get it done.
Well, Carol said, just do it, just do the turnarounds, then you don't assume any liability, and that continues to go on, and if a person were to sell their residence, then we've gotta go back to them again and get another letter.
Okay, I mean, I will say that we haven't done anything for 100 years and we've never had any trouble.
Just trying to prevent the problem.
Yeah, well. You know, do we really need to do that? I mean, is anybody against turning around in their driveway?
Well, some of them are quite a ways down the road. They gotta
Has that hurt
travel down the
anything?
road quite a ways, and, yeah, I mean, if they hit something, and
I mean,
they
they've
hit a
been doing
tree, or
it
they
forever.
hit a well, whatever, I don't know what's there.
I don't think they're going off the road. I mean, I think this is just looking into something that hasn't been a problem, you know, I think we have a lot more important things to consider.
Yeah, do you wanna assume the liability then? I don't care, I mean, if you don't want it, we won't do it, and.
I mean, I mean, if we run into their mailbox, I mean, actually, the grader has run into my mailbox before, many years ago, on the road.
Yeah.
And he stopped in and said, oh, sorry, I hit the mailbox, I'll be back after I'm done and I'll fix it, and he fixed it and it was all done. I mean, that's just kinda how it works in the town, if they do something accidentally, I would think that we'd say, oh, okay, we'll fix your mailbox. You know, I mean, isn't that reasonable?
Yeah, but this would,
Or are you
This
saying
would
that
give
we
us-
don't wanna fix their mailbox, if
This-
we hit it, we don't
no,
have to
I
fix
would
it?
say we would fix that, but anything we hit, when we drive on private property, 3/10 or 4/10 of a mile, anything we hit on that private property, we're liable for. We are liable,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
So do you wanna replace whatever we hit?
I would say
just
if that
asking.
happens, we should probably do that, but it hasn't happened. I mean, in a private area, I don't think it's happened, it has happened in the public way. It's happened several times in the public way, on our public roads, but, I don't know that it's happened on, and, I mean, yeah, and then, I mean, I don't think, you know, you said we have 66 feet, so we do, but we would have to fill both sides of the road.
Yeah.
We can't just fill one side, so it would be more than one load
Craig said probably one, but maybe two, okay? He didn't say
on
two.
each side.
What he said is one to two loads on each driveway for one side.
Right.
And he said that was enough, but I suggest doing it on both too.
I mean, not that he couldn't make it on one, but I think that's hard, but,
Then we're done with the thing, we don't have the liability, and issue's over.
I guess, I don't think we need to do it, but. I mean, did you talk to any of the landowners about it? I mean, I think that's important.
But, okay, the landowners, we own that right away.
Right.
And we own the road, so we can do it, okay? We will talk to them if
Yeah.
this gets passed. If it doesn't pass, no sense of talking to you.
Okay, because it is okay already that we turn around in the driveways then.
Yeah, but you gotta drive all the way down, certain driveways, they're quite long.
I mean, I guess I've never ever heard of a problem, so.
So there hasn't been a problem that I'm aware of, but it only takes one time for there to be a problem. And whatever that problem may be.
I mean, as far as hitting something, I mean, how much could it possibly cost the town? Cause we have 13 of these, and not only is it gonna cost for the gravel, which 2 loads is not gonna go in some areas because the ditch goes like this. And we can't go on their land, so it's gonna take more than 2 loads unless the ditch is rounded.
We looked at the first 4 on here,
Yep,
and Craig said 1 to 2 loads of gravel.
on each
Okay.
one of them.
Yes, now, maybe we put it on the other side, maybe another load, so maybe 2 to 4 loads of gravel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind throwing bring it to an attorney and see what our liability is.
Sure. I'll go back to the attorney.
Just our attorney though, I think we need to get one attorney, or whatever our plan is for that.
Yeah.
And ask that attorney.
I'll go back and ask the town attorney then. That's what you want.
I mean, okay, we don't have a town attorney though, right?
Yes, we do.
Who is it?
Well, Riley.
Oh.
They've been with you for about a year.
Well, okay, that isn't exactly how we did it, but that's all right. I mean, I don't care if it's them. I mean, we hired them for something specific, two specific things.
Justin said, when I talked to him, is he the town attorney or not? He said that you guys signed an agreement and it just keeps going, we can cancel it at any time. So,
Okay, I mean, yeah, okay, and all, just to clarify, I just understood for the landfill and for, what was the first thing?
this was for the landfill, but he's the town attorney. He's the town attorney
Yeah,
also.
the site plan ordinance is what it was for, site plan ordinance in that, I mean,
Okay.
we were specific when we hired them, but
Okay.
it, you know, so. So, if you would email him that, and he can email a response back.
Mhm. I will do that too.
I have a question about Will Riley though, with our other, this is kinda going off. With our other interview, when we asked if they're okay working with more than one attorney, we didn't ask them that question.
I'll ask him.
Okay.
We'll table this. Okay, and a discussion for next meeting then, okay? Okay, discussion on, the draft site plan ordinance. Andy, you have comments or anything you wanna bring up, or Pam?
Are we,
I mean, I don't, why is it on the agenda? I don't know what it's
Because
on.
we may make a motion today.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, I will say this. I guess I wasn't very happy with our public hearing. I don't think we got a real good feel of, I don't think the people really got to, say, I think I was shocked, so I think everybody else was shocked that they had to write a speech before they came. A few people weren't shocked, but, you know, the first time we had to send a letter to everybody. Then we have a final draft, and we only put it on the website, and that's it. So, I mean, I don't think it was, I personally don't think it was a very good display of, explaining to everybody what it was about. You know, that it was final, and what was changed, or whatever, so I think that would be nice to have.
what do you suggest then? Send it out again? Put it
Well,
on the
I mean,
website?
It was on the website. I don't know if people knew it was on the website. I mean, it was out there. It definitely was. I don't know if people knew, but, I mean, I kinda think people had questions. And, you know, somebody had mentioned, well, maybe you can't, you know, have a red fence somewhere. Well, you know what, if that's the case, I think, you know, they could ask, well, really, we can't? Then I think that needs to be changed, you know.
So we did send it out to everybody and asked them to submit questions. And then we had however many submitted. So they
Right.
did have the opportunity to ask questions.
And then, but then we had our final draft.
And then a public meeting where they could comment on what the draft was.
So, I mean, I guess I have been to a lot of hearings here, and not a lot, cause we haven't had a lot, but, it wasn't quite public friendly, I didn't think.
I thought it was. Considering,
Considering,
any more comments? Pam?
I think we went through the steps. I mean, we contacted the county for their thoughts. We had a lawyer, we had our public hearing, we sent it out to people, asked what their questions were. I think we've gone over it every meeting for a year and a half, almost.
Okay, so what do you feel about it then? I mean, there were changes made, and there was comments, all over the place, so do we need to make more changes in it after the public comment, which is kind of the reason for a public comment? What changes would we make in it then?
I don't know what change, the change I would make is not to adopt it at all. That's my thoughts.
I mean, and do you wanna say why?
Sure, I can say why. My thoughts on that are, because during one of our meetings, we were discussing, this title of it, and the title and the whole ordinance is called the Town of Stubbs Subdivision and Site Plan Ordinance for new residential subdivisions and or new non-residential land development in the town of Stubbs. I know I made the comment that I would like to see these two split, cause I think they're two different situations. One has to do with residential, one has to do with industrial. So I would like to see that happen, cause I think they are two totally different things. I have a problem with the scope of the ordinance. Why is the residential and commercial of 4 more acres being held to this standard? There's a line in the current draft 4 that says that it excludes any quarries or gravel pits. Why are those excluded? They're part, why do they get to expand, but somebody coming in with a new idea can't have that opportunity without providing all of this upfront paperwork? That's another issue I have. The cost associated, all costs incurred by the town for the review of the application will go on to the applicant. We don't know what those costs are. How do we know what that's gonna be for somebody? So let's say if we're talking about a hog farm or Walmart, or let's say for instance, one of the farmers, the local farmers, wants to put up a couple grain bins like Rooney's or something. That would still be keeping it in agriculture, but that would take away their ability to take on a bigger cash cropping situation. So that would potentially cost them out of a project of an agricultural project. Then kind of going on that, if you go into like large dairies and expanding large dairies, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure there are rules and regulations with the DNR, state codes that large dairies, this is just an example, large dairies would have to go by. So why would we put another ordinance on top of whatever they have to already go by? Those are just a couple that I wrote down off the top of my head. Those are some of my concerns about it.
Okay,
That's it? Any more? Do you have any more?
Concerns?
Yes.
Those are just a
Okay.
few concerns I wrote down.
I'll just talk here a little bit too, is, this thing has basically split the township in half, or somewhere around there, where I understand some people like it, some people don't, okay? And I guess I look at it, we need to make rules, when they make sense. And I lived in, some larger cities or close to larger cities and, smaller towns, but close to the larger cities and that. And they have this ordinance. It makes sense, it makes complete sense. I just wanna share a few things.
Could you speak up, please?
You
Because I'm
better.
not bad.
Okay.
turn that thing off.
Can you hear them? Can you hear now? Danielle, just. I'll I'll try to speak up a little bit more. Can you hear me now? Okay. When I look at the, this is from the Department of Administration. I ran these a couple of months ago and I shared them with the group. Is, in its population, it's the anticipated growth of the county. And what they show is an 8% decline in the population change from 2020 to 2030 for Russ County. If you look at it from 2030 to 2040, they show 11% decline. Department of Administration.
30 to 40?
A decline of 11%.
2030.
2030 to 2040?
You bet. 2040 to 2050, they showed a 12% decline. So it's increasing the decline as time goes on, okay, the population. That's one thing I look at. You know, housing units or houses and cabins that are built, you know, in the township. And they do have this by the township of Stubbs. In 2020, and this is from the county, this is county information. They show that there was 3 either houses or cabins built in this county, okay? Rusk County, or in Rusk, they had 10, Thornapple 5, Washington 4, Willard 4, and the rest were like 1. Okay. In 2021, town Stubbs, there was 3. Rusk had 11. Let's see, Washington had 9. Then there's like, Atlanta had 6. And then there's 3 or 4 with 5 in here, Dewey, Flambeau, okay? Just give you an idea where we're at. Then look at 22. Stubbs had a total of 2. Okay. Washington had 12. And there's 1, 2, 3 of them with 6, and then some with 4. And then in 23 was the last year I could pull the data. There's actually 4, so it averages 3, but 4 units. And the highest one was Washington with 15. And then there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of them at 5, and then 1 at 4, 3, and then a bunch of 1s in there. So, you know, not a lot of growth. And then if you look at our county, this is again from the Department of Administration. What they say is almost a quarter of the population is either seasonal, recreational, or occasional use, okay? So it's people who travel from other areas. I kind of look at, you know, I did assisted the economic development people in several counties and also in Rusk County and in El Dorado. And, you know, I look at this and I tell you, they can't keep the industrial park full in Ladysmith, okay? I mean, it's been idle for quite a few years. Weyerhaeuser School closed a few years ago. Bruce is continuing to go down in enrollment. I mean, it's not good news. I mean, they're continuing to go down. Geldwin closed, Artisan closed, okay? Now, I understand why, you know, Eau Claire, Chippewa, Menominee, those larger populous areas, or even the Twin Cities, in areas around there would enact an ordinance like this. They need it, okay? I just don't see it, not right now. I've also asked what commercial development has occurred in this township. And I was told Mr. Lorkowski built his shop. Well, how many years ago did he build his shop? 30, 40 years ago? And I asked for developments. There's one development down on the Chippewa River. It's on Deer Tail or whatever the road is. It's off from there. That thing was about 30 years ago, okay? And that's not that full, okay? The draft plan also comes with added costs for somebody to administer it and then to actually enforce the rules and policies that are made. So we gotta hire somebody, and that's at a cost. Now, Yvonne in Yvonne's email, a couple things were read last time, and I'll read a couple other things. Is like, in page 2, it says section 1.3, the final sentence includes cooperation with Russ County. I will work with the town to the extent I can, but the county cannot administer or enforce the town ordinance. So we've gotta do that, or we gotta hire somebody to do that, okay? And they also say here, I'll just read the full sentence. The zoning committee didn't take any action at their meeting last week regarding updating the comprehensive plan. There was a timeline of 18 months that was noted, so they're looking 18 months into the future, okay? There will most likely be an ad hoc committee formed that will address that. And then it says, check with the administrative coordinator, Ashley Heath, for any other information regarding the process. You know, most people say they want less government, and I feel the same way. If you need it, we should have it, okay? If we don't need it, why do it? It just adds more cost and et cetera to the township. And, I do not believe in making rules or regulations or ordinance just for the sake of making them. It's my 2 cents worth.
Okay, so you plain don't want one. I would say it, cause, you know, it has been given to the board, and if the board wants to change anything in it, that is, I mean, do we wanna research that and make changes to it?
I don't think we need one right now. I think down the road, you know, if, by the time, they're gonna go in Ladysmith before they come here. Okay, and that surrounding area, because businesses attract labor. Okay, that's what gets people to move to the areas. Is a business, and it's got a, you know, a larger business.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but housing developments are gonna be in the country, I would say.
They could be,
I mean,
But-
around Chippewa, that's where they are, they're out in the middle of the country.
yeah, but they're fairly close to town. And I just
Well,
don't.
no, I disagree, because both my kids live in one, and they're 10 or 7 miles from town, and they're in the middle of the country, in a development.
Yep. We're more than 7 miles from Ladysmith is what I'll say, you know, we're quite a ways. I just don't see a need for it right now. Possibly in the future, but not right now. Make a motion or more to discuss?
I'll make a motion to dismiss the site plan ordinance,
The draft site
the
plan?
draft 4 site plan ordinance.
I will second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion passed. Okay, we're finished the agenda item, so we're gonna close the meeting now. The meeting's closed, so thank you.
My house.
You